show Scandals Around the World. Today's episode is Money in the Shadows, and I'm your host Durgaashini, and with me today we have the renowned economist Rinesh. Thank you for joining us today despite your busy schedule. I'm looking forward to having a fruitful discussion with you. Looking back at the infamous HSBC scandal that took place over a decade ago, for our viewers at home who may not be too familiar, could you summarize the scandal and what exactly went wrong?
Thank you for having me, first of all. It truly is an honor to be on this show, and I'm looking forward to having a great discussion with you as well. Now, for those of you at home who have not heard of the HSBC scandal, let me fill you in. HSBC is one of the largest banks in the world in terms of total assets owned. In 2012, the once trusted bank was accused of facilitating the laundering of $881 million for drug cartels in Mexico and Colombia. As a result, in 2012, the bank and the US authorities had reached a DPA, which is a deferred prosecution agreement. Not facing any jail time or any severe punishment, HSBC was handed a fine worth $1.9 billion, which at face value sounds like a lot, but when you dive a bit deeper, it's only about 5 weeks of the bank's total income. This case shows that there are entities that are above the law, and that are just simply too big for jail.
Buenos días, chica. So, you know how to work with cash, right?
Yeah, well, cash, transfers, investments, maybe it will handle it.
Because I have lots of it. And I want you to know that you know how to deal with it. Right?
Are we talking about a one-time transfer or?
Hey, stop right there. No. I want it continuous. No paper trails, no legal documents. If this goes, there will be huge trouble.
Totally got you.
Perfect. Gracias. I look forward to our next meeting.
By next week. Yes, Miss Choo, I'll do that for you. Miss Choo. I'll be right back. Miss Choo, you're
Come in.
Mrs. Song, there's a last transaction coming into our account. Look at the amount.
Now you know what to do.
Well, I will take care of it.
The seven goes out. I'll make sure you're paid for it.
End of flashback.
After the deferred prosecution agreement, what specific measures did HSBC take to improve its compliance systems?
Well, HSBC invested in anti-money laundering and sanctions compliance capabilities, as well as implemented advanced technologies to monitor transactions. HSBC also restructured their global operations to enhance oversight and accountability.
I see. In your opinion, do you think DPA had a significant role in the HSBC scandal?
Of course, both positively and negatively. Firstly, DPA allowed the US government to track HSBC's efforts in improving its internal controls as well as its compliance with financial laws. It also forced HSBC to reform its anti-money laundering controls and compliance culture. On the other hand, the DPA disproportionately benefits large corporations, allowing them to avoid the consequences that others would have to face under similar circumstances. It is true that DPA had helped HSBC to to avoid criminal prosecution and protected it from its reputation being damaged.
Wow, time sure flies. We're already at our last question for today. Now, Rinesh, what can people do to prevent incidents like this from reoccurring?
Well, Durga, that is a tough question. But I believe that it is important for governments and financial regulators to continuously update and strengthen anti-money laundering and anti-terrorism financing regulations. This could involve creating stricter penalties for non-compliance and requiring regular audits. On a corporate level, if banks foster a culture where profit is prioritized at all costs, ethical boundaries will be crossed. Lastly, from a consumer perspective, transparency goes a long way. As customers, we should ask questions about the institutions we choose to bank with. By choosing to do business with banks that adhere to high ethical standards, we signal to the market that trust matters.
That's it for today's interview with Mr. Rinesh. Thank you so much for your time today. Your insights were very valuable. Hope to have you around for another episode.
Thank you so much for having me. It truly was enjoyable sharing my thoughts with you. I'd be delighted if you'd invite me over again.
That concludes today's episode of Money in the Shadows. Stay tuned for next week's episode, Prime Minister or Prisoner. Today's episode is Money in the Shadows, and I'm your host Durgaashini, and with me today we have the renowned Rinesh. So can you try to compare the national department next week? Appreciate Miss Cheong Jun Yeen.
等一下，let's end our meeting here today. Contact about it.
No, yeah. Oh, you will wait.